Hey there, I'm Kaitlin Claywell. I'm a digital marketing analyst and a lifestyle blogger. Today, I'm going to be joining those two things together to finally figure out what is working for me on Instagram. And I'm going to do this by using a conjoint analysis. So this is something that can be applied to you in your feed. It uses data from my own feed. You can substitute your stuff in for it, and we'll finally be able to figure out what's working, whether it's sponsored post, outdoor post, certain things in your post, kind of all customizable, and we're using all free tools. So we're going to be using Google Sheets and Stats Plus, which you can download for free. So really anybody can do this. And at the end of it, we'll really be able to tell what's working and come up with an estimate on what our engagement may be on future posts. This could be really handy for coming up with prices for sponsored posts or for future campaigns. So stick around if you want to figure it out. Alrighty, so let's get started on figuring out what's working for us on Instagram. So here in Google Sheets, I started a spreadsheet and put in some columns. These are just to track our likes, comments, and then engagement is just comments plus likes. And this will be our dependent variable. So this is what we're trying to figure out. Then over here, I added in some variables. These are things that often show up in my pictures or videos, things that I see on my feed, or maybe things that I want in my feed. And so just to give you a run through of what I have here, I have full body image. So if the image on Instagram, this one for instance, is this one here, if it has my full body in it, I gave it a 1 in this column. If it's just me, I give it a 1, or if it is multiple people, I give it a 0. If it is sponsored content in any way, or I'm like promoting a product, I'll give it a 1. If it's not, and it's just a post for funsies, I give it a 0. For edits, this is kind of on top of just filters and things like that, because of course I put filters on these. We want it to look good. But these edits are something that is going out of the way, like in this post, how I have kind of a green outline. That would be considered an edit. And so in that column, I'll give it a 1 if it has an edit. I'll give it a 0 if it doesn't. Same with outdoors, I'll give it a 1. If it's indoors, it's a 0. For this one for me, lifestyle, this means this is something that I didn't go out of my way to shoot. It was something that I was already doing and just wanted to capture the moment. So for this post, I went out of my way to shoot it, so I got a 0. For the other ones, like these, we were already doing it, so we just took a picture. So those ones are 1s. For me, this big smile means I'm showing my teeth in my smile, or if it gets a 0, it's just like a soft smile, or I'm not smiling at all, or maybe it's not even me in the picture. Also, this is another one for me, looking at the camera or looking away. We Instagram people love a good planted, and so often those are looking away from the camera. And then this next category is no face in frame or landscape only. And so these are images that I'm not necessarily in them. Maybe they're just like a hand with a product, or maybe they're just showing what's around me. And then this last one is for if this post was taken or posted while traveling. More so if they just show me in a different area. So Colorado, DC, Colorado, at home, Denver, So we have, these are just yes or no questions. You could make these more complicated, but for the sake of keeping things easy and clean, these are just going to go for yes and no. So once you get this all filled out, I have this for 64 of my posts. And just so you know, this model will be more accurate the more data that you have in it. And it's just kind of playing around and seeing what fits things for you. So if you're a mom blogger, maybe it's posts with your kids, or if you're a home decor blogger, it's posts with maybe you'll have one for your kitchen, your living room, different things. So you can really see what is correlated to these engagements. So once you have this step done, what you need to do is copy it all. So select it all. And if you're on a Mac, you're going to hit Command C. And if you're on a PC, I don't really know what to do with you. Just kidding. But you can right click and hit copy. So I already have Stats Plus open here. This is a free tool that you can download online, completely free. It was suggested because my version of Excel is really old and I can't do a regression analysis in it. but it works super well. So here I've already pasted those things in here. As you can see, it kind of just adds a bunch of zeros to them. Makes it a little bit ugly, but that's all right. So what we're going to do to run this regression analysis is, at least in Stats Plus, you go up here and go to Multiple Linear Regression. Go ahead and click that. And like I said, our dependent variable is our number of engagements. So in this tool, to select that, you hit this box over here and you select it. And you are going to select the labels and all. So select all of your engagements. And then for our independent variables, these are all of the variables that go into your post. So it's all this other data, and we're going to just drag it back up to select all of it. If you're in Excel, you can add a tool pack that's called Data Analysis to your computer, and you can just run an easy regression analysis, inputting the same thing, engagement as your dependent, and all of your categories as your independent. Now in here we have labels in first row selected, and now we're going to click OK. And it's going to spit out this super sweet linear regression ANOVA analysis in another tab. So what I would do, just to make it all clean, is I would just select all of this stuff down till about here, copy it, and then bring it over here into our sheet and just paste it. I've already done this. Some important things to look out for here in your regression analysis. Our R squared is actually very low. You want this number to be closer to 1. This means that the data points that you have input in this analysis, this formula that we have here, will do a good job of explaining all of those points. For us, it's not doing so hot actually. So we kind of need to take this data with a grain of salt. This is also explained down here. This is in our ANOVA. This shows their effect on that total engagement number. So what we're also looking for here is this p-value. We really want this to be close to 0.05. That's how we reach statistical significance. Unfortunately, none of them are at that point. So like I said, we take this with a grain of salt right now. The more things that more data that you collect, so the more posts that you put into your model, the more accurate it will likely be and have more influence. Right now, this is telling me that none of these things have like a super huge influence or something that is like super consistent. So, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. Then what it spits out is this equation. This is a line equation. Super easy stuff. Essentially, what this means is that our number of engagements has a baseline of 189.57. We round to whole numbers, whole integers in Instagram. You can't really get a half of a like. I don't know what that would really mean. That probably means they don't like it. So that's our baseline. And so everything after this, it's contributing to whether that's going to go up or whether it's going to go down. And so you can kind of tell a little bit easier in this section here that full body photos of me, -4 engagements, almost -5. That kind of hurts a little bit. Posts that are just me, they don't really have much of an impact, whether it's me or with other people. My sponsored posts actually do pretty well. Whenever I post something that's sponsored, it gets 34 more engagements on average. This edits one is huge. So this one, on average, I get 108 more engagements, so likes or comments, for something that is edited or has something extra to it. Outdoor photos are preferred. Lifestyle photos doesn't super make a difference whether it's like posed or something that is just coming naturally out of something that I'm doing. It's a little bit preferred that I smile with my teeth and not just a soft smile. 41 more likes if I'm actually looking at the camera, so that means no plantids for me. And then -60 engagements for no face and frame or just landscape. So you'll probably see a lot of my posts with me actually in it or a human actually in it. That makes sense. And then 7 more engagements for whenever I'm traveling. All right, from here, I'm going to copy over all of my coefficients and pull them into this tab here. Oh, And let me move that out of the way. So I'm going to copy them over here, and it shows that this is our baseline, so this is our intercept, and then these are all the categories and their corresponding coefficients. So this is the same equation as on the other tab that we got from our analysis. This is kind of just turning it into a calculator so I can easily decide what I want a post to be and what that estimated engagement might be. If I'm deciding between a couple of images to post, or maybe I'm trying to come up with an idea for a sponsored post that performs well, I would kind of go through this process. So let's say my post is not full body, it's just a headshot. It is just me in this picture, it's sponsored, it does not have any edits, it's outdoors, but it's not lifestyle, it's something I've forced. I have a big old smile in it, looking at the camera, I am in frame, and it's not a traveling post. So over here, this is what our estimated engagement would be if we input all of these values. So my estimated engagement would be just under 300. You can kind of see here what's affected, what I might be able to fix, like things like maybe if it's allowed for the campaign, maybe I should do an edit because that's going to super boost my engagement based on my previous posts. If I have the ability, go someplace new. That's going to help as well. Maybe I add a friend to it because we see that that helps even a little bit more. So by doing these things, you can tell what your estimated engagement might be. Like I said, the more data that you get into this model and you rerun the conjoint analysis, the stronger it's going to be, the higher that R-squared and p-value is going to be, the more accurate it will be. I hope this helps you out. I hope it helps with some of your decision making, and good luck Instagramming. So there we have it, using stats to up our Instagram game. Who knew? If you try this or want to try this calculator, hit me up on Instagram at Kaitlin Claywell. I would be happy to go over it with you if you have any questions, but it was pretty easy. It's not so bad. And I'll try to make these resources available to you if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching.